beautiful soul, Cherry here. Welcome back to Lemurian, the art of remembering, a sacred space where we turn spiritual theory into embodied truth. Before we go deeper, take a breath with me. If this transmission already stirs something in your chest, that subtle, I've heard this before feeling, then that's your ancient memory waking up. And before we get started, don't forget to hit subscribe, tap that bell, and settle in, because this isn't just a YouTube video, it's a remembering. And something in you, the priestess, the alchemist, the initiate, has been waiting for this. So let's begin at the beginning. Imagine a time when sacred knowledge wasn't locked in universities or hidden behind jargon. It lived in breath, rhythm, stone and silence. When the stars were your textbook and the temples were your nervous system written in stone. That time existed in ancient Kemet, what we now call Egypt. Its mystery schools weren't about rote learning. They were portals of transformation. The teachers were not professors. They were initiates of light who had mastered themselves and their curriculum, the mind, the body, and the soul, the cosmos, all as one. They understood something we've almost forgotten today, that the human being is a microcosm of the universe, that by understanding yourself, you understand source. We live in a world that shouts for our attention, demands our reaction, and worships speed. But in those sacred halls, everything slowed down. The deeper you breathed, the more truth revealed itself. Knowledge wasn't collected, it was remembered through experience. And that's what we're doing today. Remembering. Let's start with the very first teachings. The mind is the key. Everything begins with thought. Everything is shaped by thought, and everything eventually returns to thought. The ancient initiates believed the universe itself is a mental construct, a thought in the mind of the divine. So if you want to understand your life, start by understanding your mind. Think of your mind like sacred architecture. Every belief, every word, every picture you rehearse is a brick in that temple of your life. When your thoughts are chaotic, that temple starts to crumble. When your thoughts are intentional, structured, reverent, it becomes a sanctuary. And before you roll your eyes and think that's just manifestation talk, let's get real. This is energetic physics. Your thoughts send electrical impulses through your nervous system. Those impulses create feelings. Feelings create actions, and actions create your reality. Create your reality. So no, it's not fluffy affirmation nonsense. It's your actual biochemistry responding to energy. In the mystery school, initiates spent years training to observe the mind, not to silence it completely, but to understand its nature. They learn to hold one thought at a time, to master focus like a blade. Can you imagine that in our era of 15-second attention spans, if they saw us now, scrolling, comparing, spiraling, they'd lovingly shake their heads, because scattered attention is scattered energy. Scattered energy is a scattered life. So I'm asking you as your spiritual coach, but also as your friend. When was the last time you sat in silence long enough to hear your own inner voice instead of your phone notifications? Silence isn't empty. It's full of information. It's the meeting point between your conscious and your higher self. And the ancient Egyptians knew when you can hear the whispers beneath the noise, that's when real magic starts. The mystery schools never separated body and spirit. They didn't see flesh as sinful or shameful. They saw it as technology. Your body is not an inconvenience. It's the vessel through which your soul creates on earth. Every organ, every breath, every heartbeat is a note in the divine symphony. The temples themselves were built to mirror the human body. As initiates walked through each chamber, they symbolically activated a different energy center, from the base to the crown. They didn't just walk into a building. They were walking through themselves. Think about that the next time you catch yourself speaking harshly to your body. Every criticism you whisper becomes a crack in your temple walls. The Egyptians purified their bodies through fasting, breathwork, sacred movement, and bathing rituals. Not out of vanity, but out of reverence. They believe the cleaner the vessel, the cleaner the connection to spirit. And here's where we need to talk about something most spiritual. Most spiritual people avoid embodiment. You can meditate all day, but if you treat your body like an afterthought, live on caffeine, neglect sleep, ignore rest, you're cutting your power in half. Every ache is a message. Every tension is an unsent letter from your soul. Pain isn't punishment, it's communication. So next time your shoulders tighten or your stomach knots, don't rush to fix it or shame it. Pause, breathe. Ask it, what is it trying to say? That's the kind of listening that turns a body into a temple again. Now here's where things get juicy. Spiritual alchemy. Most people hear that and think turning lead into gold. But no, the Egyptians meant something far deeper. They were talking about turning the dense, unconscious parts of yourself into light, transmuting fear into courage, pain into wisdom, and ego into essence. This wasn't metaphysical. This wasn't metaphorical. It was practical physiology, centuries before the term existed. So let's talk through their 7 stages together. And I want you to think about where you are in them right now. The first, calcination. Everything burns. The illusion falls apart. You lose your lost job, relationships, identity. It feels like death, but it's the beginning of a rebirth. The second is disillusion. Emotions flood. And finally, you feel what you've been suppressing. It's messy and cleansing. It's holy. The third is separation. You start to see what's true, what's yours, what's inherited. You stop carrying everybody else's stories. 4 is conjunction, the reunion, the mind and the heart, masculine and feminine, shadow and light, integrated. You start feeling whole. The 5th is fragmentation, the spark of new life. You rediscover purpose. You dream again. You feel guided. The 6th is distillation, refinement, simplicity, clarity. You start choosing peace over drama. And 7th is co-creation, spirit embodied. And don't think alignment are aligned. That's the great work, the real gold. And if you're in a burning phase right now, if it feels like everything is falling apart, congratulations. You're not falling, you're calcinating. You're breathing. The next stage always comes. Every civilization had laws. Egypt had Ma'at, not just a goddess, but a principle. Truth, balance, justice, and harmony. Ma'at isn't a punishment. It's the original alignment code of the universe. Everything from the stars to your heartbeat vibrates in Ma'at's rhythm. When you live out of alignment with truth, when you lie to yourself, betray your needs, or people please to keep the peace, you fall out of rhythm. That's when chaos shows up. And the Egyptians don't fear chaos. They listened to it. They saw it as feedback. Something off came back to balance. Something's off. So come back to balance. So when your life feels messy or uncertain, stop labeling it as bad and ask instead, what truth am I ignoring? Because every time you realign with honesty, with what's actually real for you, you restore Ma'at's peace. You restore Ma'at. Peace doesn't come from control. It comes from coherence. Temples in Egypt were built with mathematical and astronomically precision alignment, with solstices, stars, sacred geometry, because they knew that when human creation mirrored divine order, energy flowed effortlessly. So how do you do that in modern life? You align your days with your soul's rhythm. Morning breathing before screens, midday grounding before reacting, nighttime reflection before sleeping. Every routine can become ritual when done with awareness. Mastery of the self, the final temple. Here's where the mystery schools got real. After years of study, initiates were told everything you've learned is useless unless you master yourself. Let that sink in. You can read every spiritual book, follow every guru, chant every mantra, but until you've faced yourself, you're still a tourist in your own soul. Self-mastery isn't control, it's clarity. It's knowing your emotions without being ruled by them. It's feeling anger and saying, a boundary is needed, instead of exploding or suppressing. It's hearing fear whisper and saying, thank you, but I lead. It's not perfection, it's awareness. The mastery schools taught 5 layers of mastery. Physical is to honor your body. Emotional is to understand your feelings. Mental is to choose your thoughts. Energetic is to manage your vibration. And spiritual is to listen to your higher self. Everything else is detail. Start by observing. Be the watcher. Notice what triggers you, who drains you, where you abandon yourself. That observation is gold. You can't change what you won't see. Then practice will. Discipline isn't punishment, it's devotion. Without will, you stay in cycles. With will, you move mountains. And remember, discipline can look like rest, like turning your phone off, like saying no when your nervous system screams, please them. That's real power. So let's bring this home. The heart of these 35 teachings isn't about hieroglyphs or ancient rituals. It's about you, your modern, messy, extraordinary, tired but tried self. Tired but trying self. The same divine intelligence that carved the pyramids pulses in your DNA. You are the temple now. Your thoughts are the chants. Your choices are the rituals. Your actions are the offerings. So the question isn't if you're worthy of initiation. It's what kind of initiate do you choose to be? Will you keep giving your power to chaos, distractions, or comparison? Or will you start living as a conscious creator, as a woman of Ma'at, a being of balance, truth, and grace? Here is a simple integration ritual you can do tonight. Light a candle. Write down one area of your life that feels heavy. Ask, what truth am I refusing to see here? Breathe, feel, and then listen. Write the first sentence that arises. Even if it's uncomfortable, speak it out loud. Burn the paper in a fire-safe bowl, whispering, I return to balance. That's spiritual alchemy in real time. So how do you remember the 35 teachings in motion? When you live these principles, you notice something. You start speaking slower, choosing better, sleeping deeper, and attracting cleaner energy, because truth rearranges everything it touches. You'll notice that forgiveness stops being a moral chore. It becomes freedom. Gratitude stops becoming a list and becomes a lens. Beauty stops being external and it becomes an atmosphere. You realize that every boundary is an act of love, not separation. That every breath is a prayer, if taken consciously. That every no that honors your soul creates space for divine yeses. And that, my love, is when the mystery school lives in you. Maybe what landed for you today was that your mind is sacred architecture. Maybe it was that your body is your greatest oracle. Maybe it was that the chaos is simply the universe tapping you on the shoulder and saying, realign. Whatever it was, don't rush past it. That spark is a sign you're remembering something ancient and true. Now, I would love for you to comment below. My pillar this week is, and then fill in one of those and fill in what you're choosing to live. Because initiation happens through embodiment, not theory. And if you're ready to go deeper with me, to decode your numerology, reclaim your power and build boundaries that don't bend, then your next initiation is waiting. In the description box below, you'll find the link to book a clarity session where we can tie in grounding, releasing, overcoming and wisdom, transmission and healing. Because these are not coaching calls, they're activations. Because your soul didn't come here to play small. Before you go, if this stirred something deep in you, again, please hit the subscribe, tap that notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. And share it with the soul who needs it most. This channel isn't just content, it's a temple for remembrance. You are the temple, you are the flame, and you, beloved, are the key. Until next time, stay grounded, stay golden, and never forget, you are the miracle you've been waiting for. Bye for now.